What is up, everybody? My name is Andrew, and welcome back to Space Engineers Survival 2025. This is episode number 46, and the snowstorm is still in shambles. Last episode, we did mostly interior work and work on the new Barista right here. This is the Barista Mark III Ion version. It's got ion thrusters as well as the very cool, it's a little hard to see because it's all the way in here, Prototech thruster in there, which gives us a lot of forward-facing thrust. But we also added all these Prototech blocks into the Snowstorm, so we have these now. So this episode, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be doing the exterior of the Snowstorm, getting it built up a little bit better because it's currently got a bunch of broken blocks. And then at the end of this episode, we'll see if we have like a Prototech thing we can go to, because these are quite far. We could get there, but I'd like to wait until one of these respawns, and then maybe we'll head toward the, whichever one is there. So we need to start working on the exterior. And one thing I was thinking is maybe I want to add a couple more ion thrusters to this guy. It would be kind of cool to add more ion thrusters over, I don't know, maybe over here somewhere. I don't know if it would fit very well because this is where the hangar is, but yeah, adding another ring like this where we have ion thrusters and then putting some weapons on the exterior, like right here, for instance, would be kind of cool if we can figure out how to do that. I just need to figure out where I want to do that. And in fact, you know what? This might not be a bad area because we have 1, 2, 3 blocks right there. Oh, by the way, sorry for the random blue color. This is actually something that I discovered. Someone in the comments mentioned that if you do Control plus with the build info mod, it gives you a couple of different overlays. And one of those is air tightness and specialized. And if I do this, which Shift R on that guy, it'll actually show me the thruster range of this thruster. So anywhere here is where blocks will get damaged, and then anywhere here is, I believe, where I will get damaged if I'm in any of this range and it's firing. So so that's a very cool one. Thank you for that in the comments. And of course, there's also other thrusters as well, or other overlays as well that you can do. So like this one right here shows mounting points. So if I aim at something, it'll show me where it has mounting points. So this has mounting points everywhere. But if I go to the next one, it shows me ports. So this one shows me that I have a port right there, and then I have ports where I can access right here. And then if I go to this one, I've got ports everywhere. This one's got ports everywhere. And so this is really useful if I wanted to find out, for instance, where the ports for, let's think about this, where the ports for this guy are. You can see they're right there and right there. And if I do Shift R on this, it'll actually just hold it so I can just see where those are. So that's really cool. Thank you very much for those suggestions. They really help out in figuring out how to use this mod, and I really like it. So anyways, that goes to show that build info is once again the mod that everyone says it is, and is incredible, as good as everyone says it is. Okay, we're gonna need to get started on working on the AMG Snowstorm, and I just need to, I think for the figuring out where to put the ion thrusters, I'm just gonna need to like try a couple things out and see what sticks. So first of all, having ion thrusters right here would not be a bad idea. Maybe not as high as that one, but lower right here going forward could work. Kind of above the Snowstorm. So this is kind of what I'm thinking. I could toss a thruster right here. And there's obviously a bunch of missing blocks here already, so we're gonna need to do some work fixing this area up. But yeah, a thruster right here wouldn't be a bad idea. Okay, think about it like that. The only problem there is though, then once again, if I go to my, if I go to this means that all these blocks right here would be in the damage range, so I would need to overhaul these a little bit. But once we get to this block, it's pretty fine, so I think that'll be okay. And I don't actually mind this. I think this would actually fit quite well onto this. The only problem is then, if we want to get backward-facing thrusters, we'd need to figure out where to put those. And for those, I'd probably want to put them up here, or something like that. So again, just trying stuff out to see what sticks, really. But if I were to put one of those right here, I mean, that would kind of go back right here. That wouldn't be that bad. We have to kind of work on this a little bit to make it look a little bit better. And then suddenly this would probably come out a little bit further, meaning we could either move the hangar door. Well, we wouldn't want to move the hangar doors because then this is in the way right here. So no, the hangar doors would stay here. There would just be a little bit more dead space right here where you have kind of like a little walkway or something. I think this wouldn't be that bad, and it does give us those thrusters. And then if we wanted to add more thrusters, for instance, on the sides, we could always add them right here. Couple warfare ions right there. 1, 2, I don't know, even 3, 4. And then that there is a couple more side thrusters that we could do. So then we could operate this thing even more in just ion mode, which would be kind of cool. And then furthermore, we could also move some of these weapons out to the side a little bit. And we are making the Snowstorm a little bit bigger here as we do this, but you know, it's a risk I'm willing to take. So one thing we'd still be missing is more downward facing ones. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a couple of those here. I think maybe one right there and one right there would make sense. And then a couple of upward facing ones would be nice as well. Okay, I can arrange it like that a little bit, and then I'm trying to still figure out where I want to put the upward facing ones, and I'm thinking maybe I do something like this. Just one right here and one right here, if that would work. I don't know if that'll damage this guy. It's kind of hard to tell. I think it won't actually, because this hitbox is only right here, and this would go straight up. So it should be good. And then to that effect, actually, I could even go and add a couple more. And actually, if I'm adding them there, you know what? I think I'm gonna add them one lower. Our energy is critical, that's fine. I'm gonna add them down here. So they're one block a little bit lower, and then we'll have this kind of hidden. It'll be a little protected, it'll be fine. Okay, so I kind of like that. I kind of like this. I think I do like this thruster setup right here. So let's go ahead and start building up all these thruster components. And these big ones, I don't know if we have enough stuff for them, but we will absolutely try. So let's get a couple of this stuff here real quick. A little bit of energy, a little bit of that NRG. Help us out. And then let's start getting some of these thruster components, and we'll see how many trips this is gonna take us. Probably gonna take a couple. Probably gonna take quite a few, actually. Well, hey, we might actually be able to get this one done here. And just like that, this is gonna be one of our thrusters done very easily. Okay. So that one right there is done, which means we have another thruster pointing back. So with that being done, I need to figure out what I want to do with this section before I do anything else. So let's go ahead and do our cycle here so that we can see this, and then let's do Shift R so that it holds that, because I want to see where our damage is going to be. So it actually looks like the way this is set up, I could even stick a full block under here, and that should not get damaged, I think. Or maybe it would get slightly damaged. I actually can't tell. That's very... Ooh, yeah, maybe it would get a little bit damaged. Okay. Well, at the very least, it means we could do something like this if we wanted to. Like that, and then, I don't know. We could even do that right there. That would look kind of cool. So something like that is kind of cool, because that means that while you're in here, you can actually see the little thruster zone out there, which is pretty neat. But then we'd want some sort of like thing to guard our thrusters a little bit. So we're gonna have to end up redoing a lot of this section. I think this is gonna be fine. We're not gonna spend 100 episodes on this, I promise. We're just gonna do a little bit of renovation. So we could end up doing the same thing right here, where we kind of go up like that and then down. There we go. So it end up looking kind of like that, where we have this here. I'll turn that off here real quick. Yeah, there we go. So it end up looking a little bit like this, where we have this kind of like area where the thruster can go. And then over here, we have a little bit of heavy armor kind of defending this area on the side, which I think would look cool. And then we're gonna have to bring out some of this stuff to meet up with this, which will be okay. Just, you know, bring it out like that. No, we are making the snowstorm a little bit wider. Every time we mess with the snowstorm, we do end up making it bigger, which is, I guess, just the natural order of things. And just for the look, I know I never really use these heat vents, but I think I'm gonna throw a couple heat vents right there because I think it'll look kind of cool. It'll be like, this is like sending the heat out this way and the heat's coming out the side. I think that'll look neat. So then we'll do another one of these right there. We'll do another one of those right there. And then all this is gonna end up being heavy armor as well. Just so we have this one big heavy armor pocket kind of defending all this stuff. I think that'll look pretty cool. And then this stuff right here is gonna turn into that. And then more than likely we're gonna bring this up a little bit or something like that. It'll look a little bit better. So right click, right click, right click, and right click. We'll get all those built up. And once we do this on this side, we are gonna have to, of course, do this on the other side, which is the fun part, right? But that's how we do it. There we go. So the cool thing is that whenever that thruster starts spinning up, these should open. Or it's honestly whenever the rest of the ship spins up. I don't know if you can set this to like a specific block. No, it's just a power dependency. Okay, so that's fine. But yeah, it'll end up looking pretty cool, I think. Okay, with everything in there welded up, I think I'm gonna leave the rest of these for the barista whenever we decide we want to weld up these heavy armor blocks. Because the barista will be able to handle it pretty darn easily with the welders. Currently it's grinders still, because we need to grind down the rest of this base down here, by the way. It's still floating, not down here, but over here. Yeah, the rest of the base is still just kind of floating here. Although we did steal all the stuff from it, so all this stuff, this is empty now, which means we could if we wanted to remove it, but I'm not gonna remove it right now. We'll eventually get all this stuff. In fact, I don't need these anymore. I could remove these. Yeah, one by one, I could remove those and swap them over to our new thruster setup, because we are connected now, so it's not going anywhere. All right, there's our another big thruster right there. We actually had all these components on the Snowstorm for this, so I guess we had a bunch of thruster components sitting around. We only have those two more small thrusters. Actually, no, we have a couple more, I believe, right there. Yeah. Oh, we have a lot of them. Okay. Well, we're still bringing stuff over from this. I mean, okay, that doesn't look that bad. I do kind of like that. And then we would probably continue this right here, maybe with these. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And then up. That's all heavy armor, because that could very easily get shot. So, figured I should give that the most armor. All right, still cooking a little bit. Still trying to figure something out. I think I kind of like where this is going, though. So bring this block up like that, and then up right there, and then straight, and then this one get removed. Well, all of them will get removed, but that one in particular. And then, yeah, we'd have that continue along that side right there. And I could even have that go like half a block up, because I think that would make a little bit of sense. Provide a little bit more support for this thing right there, this Prototech thing. Our Prototech jump drive, of course. All right, this is starting to look decent. Yeah, that's not bad, I think. And then we have, this is heavy armor, and it shifts into light armor. We've got heavy armor over these. Actually, this should be heavy armor right here, because it's over one of these thrusters, and so I want to protect that a little bit, so we'll go heavy armor right there. But everything else is going to be light armor back here, because it doesn't really matter if that stuff gets shot off. I can always just go replace it. And then right here, this is just going to be light armor again. We'll grab one of them, turn that around, and we'll bring it over like this. And then I've got to decide if I want to increase this in height any more than it already is, or if I just want to keep it kind of going over like that. But this alone is going to make the ship a little bit wider. You can kind of see where this is coming out. This is meeting that width right there, and it's going to do the same on this side. Okay, so I've got a little bit of this part done now as well. I think this all is going to be heavy armor as well, so let's just plop that in right here. You know what I think I'm going to do, actually? Let me move these down one block. And the reason I'm going to do that is because that'll give me a block right here to bring in some conveyors so that I can put like some weapons on this side thing. And I think that's a good idea. I'll go in like right here. And then I'll just need to remember that right here is where I want to throw some conveyors. And I don't know where a conveyor would be. I know there's some below us, so we could probably bring some up through there. But yeah, that's going to give us weapons out here that we can put. So this guy will be moved, and then we can probably put another one over here. So maybe an assault cannon in one of these. I think that would fit pretty well. How do I like this, I wonder? I mean, I could put it staggered like that so that they're not at the same level. Technically, I don't need to move this guy down, so I'd only really do it for aesthetic reasons because we've already got the connection here, which is going to go down most likely right here. Ah! And meet up with maybe that, which, by the way, needs another thruster. Oh, look, we have T-3 and T-18 on those right there. That's not bad. If one of them comes that's pretty close to us, we might actually just go to it and then continue building this stuff here, because we can keep this connected and still teleport somewhere, or jump somewhere, not teleport. It's not the same thing. But yeah, we don't necessarily have to approach it. We could just be next to it. And if it seems like something that's not that hostile with not very many ships nearby, we could potentially try and take it out. And maybe build like before we go there, maybe build a little fighter ship and see if we can take it out with that. So that might not be the worst idea. What is down here? I feel like, yeah, there's something got damaged here. Okay, I'm gonna need to throw something on here. What was here? Oh, there were batteries here. You know what? That's probably what happened. We somehow managed to destroy our batteries. Okay, we'll go ahead and get our batteries back online here. Put everything back for a second. And then after that, just so this doesn't happen again, we're gonna put some tiny little of these guys on the bottom. Or maybe we'll put windows. Actually, windows would look a little better, I think. One right there and one right there. So if we bump anything, it'll hit the window instead of hitting the block, and that's good. Okay, where are these things located? That one's about to despawn. That one, okay, no, they haven't despawned yet. I heard the beep, 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 and I thought one had despawned. But no, we're about to run out of stuff. Let's go refill everything at the refill state at the med bay here, because I need a little bit of health too. All right, there we go. Did one of these respawn? 13,000. Okay, well, let's wait for that one to respawn, I guess. 13,000 is a little far. All right, so there's that. And what that's gonna allow me to do is I think I'm gonna put a turret like here, or maybe a turret up. I don't know actually where I want to put them. I'll put them up there, I guess. I think maybe it would make sense to put one right here and one right here for the front. All right, so we've got all these connections right here that we need to do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So let's get all those built up. And then from there, we can start getting our turrets back in here. 2, 3, 4. So this is where our Gatling turret's gonna go. And then 5 and 6 are gonna be where our assault cannon's gonna go. 4, 5, 6. And let's get those in here. I mean, I guess I could go ham and toss an artillery here. It would kind of work. Although if I did that, I would definitely want the artillery to be in the front. Let's see, where do I have an artillery right there? I have an artillery right here. I don't have artilleries on the side, so it would not be a bad idea to put artillery on the side. So I think if I'm doing that, that's probably the best configuration right there. And then we do our Gatling Type 2 right here to kind of act as a defense for that. So if a ship comes over here and that's turning really slowly, the Gatling would get it. We don't have to worry too much. All right, so let's build those up. Right click, and we'll get those up. A couple trips, of course, because all the stuff for the artillery turret is very, very heavy. But the Gatling is light enough that it would only take one trip. Very good. And let's make sure these are pulling materials as well. Pulling ammo, rather. Yep, Gatling's pulling ammo, though it only pulled 6, so we might need to grab more. And then I don't know if this one has a port. So I might have to check it somewhere else. But this, did it pull more than 6? Yeah, pulled 24. Very good. All right, I'm happy with this. And then light armor, so I'll just follow this up with more light armor, I think. Boom, boom. People were telling me that I should be building in heavy armor mostly because all this damage is because we had light armor, right? We have holes in everything just because it's all light armor. But I think what I'd rather do is just do tactical heavy armor. So mostly light armor, but then heavy armor in some tactical locations. So for instance, right here, this is all light armor, but I have a heavy armor block right here so that if anything shoots at this thing, it won't take out an entire line of blocks like it did before. So the problem with putting heavy armor on everything is, first of all, it's expensive. Not that we can't afford it because we have all the stuff from the base we just conquered, but it's also very heavy. So the more heavy armor you have, the slower you go. And actually, it's not the most important thing for a spacefaring ship because there's no gravity, of course. I think if we were to take this back to the planet, we'd have a little bit of trouble, especially the Earth-like planet. There's no way this thing would lift off. This thing would get sucked into the planet. Really crazy. All we can do, actually, we have to keep in mind, all we can do is go to Earth planet, or go to moons or Europa, for instance. Or stuff in space, because otherwise I think this is going to hit the planet and not come back, basically. Boom, look at that. That's starting to look pretty good. And then light armor right here I think would be fine, because it's kind of flanked by heavy armor. So just a little tiny light armor thing right there. All good. Okay, we have some downward facing thrusters. They're pretty well protected, and I actually kind of like this. For this little walkway, I'm definitely going to have to reevaluate how I want to do this, because it doesn't really make sense to have, like we're going to have heavy armor right here, for instance. So there's no view. So I could just do corridors, and I think that wouldn't be bad. Or likewise, I could find a way to, I don't know, let me see. So that goes out that way. This comes up, it's supposed to come up here and meet up there. Yeah, that kind of works. If I add 2 more ions right there, I think this would look good. I don't know if I'll be able to build them up, and I think I'm using all my ions on this one side, which will be a problem. But it's fine, I can build the other ones when I get the chance. Yeah, we can't withdraw thruster components. I can see if I can build some, but I think thruster components require platinum. Oh, let's see, we'll try. I don't know, I'll tell it to build some. We did get a lot of cobalt from the base that we conquered. Well, 6,000 away is our closest dude, so. All right, at this point, I think this side is good enough to do a pass with, well, actually, hang on. I want to add an assault cannon turret to this side as well, so let's add the assault cannon, then we'll do the pass with the barista. I think that'll be a good idea. So we'll go out right here, and I'm gonna copy kind of how we're doing it on that side. So I'm probably gonna end up raising the assault cannon up one then, because I'm doing this same style here, and it comes down like that. I think I like that, and we'll do that. This is all gonna be heavy armor, I guess. I had said earlier I was gonna do strategic heavy armor, but here I am doing everything heavy armor. So I think we're gonna make the thing right here instead. All right, so that's where our assault cannon's gonna go. So let's grab that and throw this on, this little assault cannon turret. Can't go wrong with those unless you don't have any ammo for it, which might be the case for us, but let's go ahead and grab our assault cannon turret stuff here real quick. Maybe one more trip for that. Yes. And there we go. So we now have this assault cannon turret as well, which means this side now has not only the assault cannon turret, but also Gatling and an artillery turret, which will help out a lot. And then right here, maybe I'll put some heavy armor stuff on here just to defend it a little bit. So some of these heavy armor panels, I do like using these heavy armor panels because they really don't deform, which is nice. So panel right there, and then panel, I guess just right there, because I can't put any closer. Perfect. All right, that's looking good. And maybe I'll decide that I want to put a Gatling up here as well. I don't know. We still need to figure some stuff out with this side right here. How are our Gatlings over here, by the way? Because usually, before, I think we had some Gatlings pointed down. Maybe right here. Yeah. I think those may have gotten shot off on both the sides. Yeah, this side as well. Look at that. Okay, we need to start welding stuff on the outside with the barista. So let's go ahead and remove these grinders. And then let's get our welders on here. Grinded. Oh no, I can't sing that. I sang that last episode. Can't sing the same song 2 episodes in a row. That's against the rules. That's against the rules I signed when I signed up for YouTube. They're like, nope, you're not allowed to sing the same song twice in 2 videos back to back. All right, let's press number 8 here. 8's the wrong button. Let's press number 9 here. Okay, and let's start getting to work. We don't have materials. Oh no. Okay, let's go back and get some materials first. Okay, so a lot of this storage stuff, we're gonna go for one of our modulars because this stores a lot, and we're gonna go for, let's say, well, you know what? Put as much as you can in there, and then we'll do the same thing for this. Put as much as you can in these. And that should be good. Okay, put all that, that's fine. All right, so the ship is now, oops, that's the wrong button as well. The ship is now extremely heavy, but it's okay because we're in space. There's no such thing as gravity in space. Don't look that up. All right, let's switch this from grind mode to weld mode, and let's get to work. Okay, luckily I think this should go faster than grinding the other ship goes. All right, we're gonna position ourselves in a nice little line right here, and we're gonna go up and get all this stuff welded as we go. So this is all heavy armor. It might take a second, but actually, you know, it's actually going pretty quick. Sort of. I say that, and it's not going that quick. This is one of the gripes that I have. I feel like the welding and the grinding with the ship is extremely slow when you have the slow hand welding grinding settings on. I wonder if there's a setting just to affect the ship speeds. Because what I want the ship to be rather fast. I want it to make a lot of sense to use the ship versus using the hand welder and the hand grinder. Because right now, it makes sense a little bit, but it's not really that much faster than if I were to do this by hand. Now it is when I get a bunch of blocks like this, because these would all require me to go back and forth to get the materials. But like the higher my inventory size goes, for instance, the less it would make sense to have a ship for this. And so it'd be very nice to just be able to have the ship do, just, you know, a lot of speed. In fact, I think it would be cool if they even increased the welder range. That'd be neat. Or you know what, maybe that's on me. Maybe if I had a ship that had more welders, then it would make a lot more sense to use it. And it's just a scaling issue. I don't know. What kind of welding ships do you guys have, by the way? The only welding ships I've ever made are basically this one. This is the same style of welding ship I always make. And you'll know that the Weldabeest from this series as well is very similar to this. It just has more welders and is a little wider. But what kind of welders do you guys make? Do you guys make welders that are able to weld extremely fast for ships like this, or do they end up looking kind of similar to the one I've got here? I'd be very curious about that. I feel like, you know how an artist has a style, and so when you see their art, you're like, oh yeah, this is that artist, this is their style. Like, if you look at, I don't know, Picasso, you can see like a Picasso painting and be like, oh, that's probably Picasso. Well, I wonder if building ships is similar. Like, you can see someone's ship and be like, oh yeah, that's an Andrew ship, or like, oh, that's a Splitsy ship for sure. Or no, Capac had a say in that one, definitely. Or, I don't know, that's a Last Stand Gamers ship that I see. I don't know, do people have like a signature? Like, not by trying. I know you can try to have your own signature, but do people just have like a type of ship they tend to build? I don't know. But anyway, there we go. That's all those built up. I think that's gonna look pretty good. Yeah, wow, I do like this. Hopefully those don't get destroyed right in front of us, these blocks, but I do really like how that's looking. Let's go on the bottom and get a couple of these. Oh no, we're out of stuff. What do you think we're out of? We're out of either steel plates or metal grids. I don't know which. I'm gonna say we're probably out of, we brought a lot of metal grids. We're probably out of steel plates. Let's see. We are out of, hide empty. We're out of steel plates, yeah, dang. Should have brought more. Actually, we're almost out of metal grids as well, so it probably wouldn't have made much of a difference if I'd brought more. In fact, I can use the remaining metal grids on these guys, so I don't have to carry them. There we go, very good. How much power do we have left? 2 hours of power going at full speed. We have a day, 26 days of power if we were just standing here, which is really kind of crazy. And I think some of that's probably related to having a reactor on board. I love this ship. This ship is so nice. Okay, let's go ahead and hit number 9 for proxy there. And let's get out here and get the remaining bit that we need to do. Again, sorry for this lock-on thing. You know what? Let's get rid of that real quick. Boom, it's gone. There we go. Okay, let's get back to work. Get back to work. You gotta be your own boss. You ever want to be your own boss? Playing Space Engineers, you gotta be your own boss. Otherwise, you'll sit around and, I don't know, weld blocks. I don't know. What is being lazy in Space Engineers look like? It's kind of hard to tell. I used to play Space Engineers like just for fun before I started making videos for it. But now every time I play Space Engineers, it's for a video. It's very rare that I play it just for fun with like friends or anything like that. So I wonder how that usually goes. Game of Space Engineers. Probably there's a lot more shenanigans going on. You know, like building ships and running people over with them or something. You know, I had a friend back in the day actually when I played Space Engineers with my friends. Who would, he would always just like look for me and then run full speed at me with the jetpack to bop me out of the sky. That was a fun time. Frustrating, but a fun time nonetheless. So yeah, just giving you ideas, you know, if you're playing with your friends and you want to do a little bit of trolling. Nothing wrong with a little bit of trolling, unless your friends say stop and you keep trolling, then you gotta, you know, then you gotta reevaluate. But anyways, here we go. This is looking good. All right. Yeah, I like this. You know what? I think I like this. This is actually looking pretty neat. Now, I would like these to be maybe a little farther apart, but I don't think we're gonna be able to fix that. I could potentially like move this up to here, but I think it's probably fine. I just feel like the guns are a little too close to each other, but it's okay. If this were another Gatling, it would make a lot more sense. But we do kind of need to have an artillery on the side, I think. And so we're now the O Storm. And I think that's gonna be good. So yeah, the name of the ship's gonna go up here. It'll be like the Ion Storm. Wow, that's too big, dang. But yeah, we'll put it up there and it'll look good. Or it might be the Plasma Storm, or it might be the Space Storm. I still need to go through the comments and look at the suggestions that you guys gave. But let me see if I can repair this guy, because its smoke is bothering me. You, yes, you. Stand still, laddie, so I can repair you. 10 points if you know what song that's from. All right, it's not all done, but I added some more of these on the front as well, so that when that fires, you know, you'll see the effects coming from here, which I think is gonna look pretty neat. But I do like having these enclosed. I think that's gonna look cool. The thrusters themselves look cool, and I love being able to see them like this. In fact, on this side as well, seeing them is gonna be kind of cool. But I think these are gonna be a little bit more protected, and I do kind of like that. If I wanna see them, I could also add windows. You know what? I'm inclined to say it would not be a bad idea. I'm inclined to say it would actually look kind of cool if I put windows there. Let me try something. Let me try to cook. I think I'm gonna do this, something like that right there. And then here, I'll do a window. One of these, a bay window. I think that's gonna look neat. Let's try it out. Boom, bam,
Energy
bop,
low.
boom. But just with that, you'll be able to kind of see what's going on in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and right click this guy, right click him, and right click them. And let's get this built up. All right, yeah, I don't think that's bad. The only problem would then be it's not centered, but I actually think I like that because now we can see what's going on here. On this side, what we'll do is this. We'll go in like that, and that'll basically be it. All right, check that out right there. You got that nice little sight in here, and I could even add like a door. If there was an easy way, it would be cool to add like a door just so that you know, if ever maintenance needed to be happening inside here, there'd be a way to get in there. Like this one, technically you can get in very easily. You'd just be in here and then you would get in. So like for instance, you jump over that, you'd go out this way and then you'd come this way and then boom, this is where you could do maintenance on this guy. It's very easy. You could just crawl through there. In real life, you know, not in Space Engineers, it's a little difficult. Okay, with that little bit of welding right there, this is what that little section will be. It doesn't look as good because it's harder to see that, whereas this one right here, you can kind of immediately see the blue. It's just because of the way this is positioned right here. I could always move that gun right there and then maybe not have this Gatling gun, or maybe have the Gatling guns elsewhere. In fact, that might not be a bad idea. Well, I do kind of like, I kind of like it. I don't know. Right here on this side, I want to do heavy armor because I'm afraid if this is, you know, if something's shooting at us from this side, this could very easily be hit. So I feel like this is a pressure point that might require some heavy armor. So we're gonna go ahead and put that there. Nice. And then up here, still not 100% sure what I'm gonna do. If I'm gonna keep this ladder section, I guess it goes into there, so it would be like a very small section. And then it used to come out here. Which, is it still going to? Maybe, actually, I don't know. All right, there we go. Now this is at least like in position with blocks around it, so that's good. And then this, again, I don't know if we're gonna keep this. If we do, we'll reevaluate it. But for now, this is looking really good. I really like what we've done here on the side. And then the profile of the ship is gonna look, well, impossible to see, but gonna look different a little bit. Okay, I'm trying to refactor what we have here. And I'm thinking I might turn this thruster that's in the back right here on its side so we don't have as much going on right here, and it'll kind of look a little bit more like what's going on right here. So all this stuff right here I can take and put in here, and then these, essentially this light armor blocks, I'm going to turn into heavy armor, and we're going to make a nice little tray for it, kind of like what we have for the other stuff. Was this heavy armor or light armor? It's light. Well, it's going to turn heavy. Congratulations, you've been upgraded. You best start believing in upgrade stories. You're in one. Okay, this might require some barista intervention, but you can sort of see what we're going for here. There we go. I think that's going to be kind of nice. And I don't think we're going to do anything up top like we do for this one. So this one's completely surrounded. I don't know that we're going to... Well, we could. Could. But should is the question. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 bum 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 bum. I mean, okay, hang on. I could do this. If I did this, we could go 1 and then I don't know, hang on. Maybe like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. This is what I'm thinking. I moved this back. I was able to do so by moving this back and then getting rid of a bunch of stuff over here. So we're kind of redesigning everything, but it's for the greater good. It's gonna make sense at some point. Let's go ahead and shift army on that guy. Yeah, so we want one more over here. But it's starting to look pretty good. So that's gonna go there, that's gonna go there, and then we're gonna get our favorite little block right there. Our favorite little block right there. Okay, the back is, it looks like a mess, but you know what I like to say is you can't bake an egg without cracking a couple of, never mind, you guys know the thing. We're baking an egg and we're cracking a couple of cakes for sure. We'll crack some flour, we'll crack some, I don't know, vanilla extract. We'll crack all the things to bake this egg, and yeah, we're getting there. Sometimes it gets worse before it gets better is all I'm trying to say. And right now we're definitely at that stage. Whether it'll get better is remains to be seen, but I think this is a good start. I think I kind of want to do something like this. I think I want a double back in the back right here. Maybe one like that going all the way up. Oh, there's the shadow. Yeah, I think maybe having a double going all the way back up and then suddenly bloop, all the way to the back, making that exact sound. We're out of energy. And it always catches me off guard. And it shouldn't, because there are like 2 warnings that they give. They're like low energy, critical energy. They need like one more at like 1% where it's like really, really critical energy. You should probably like go get your stuff, because that energy, real critical. More critical than I've ever seen before, dare I say. Boom, there we go. We now have one more connection, and you know what I'm gonna put there? Oh, it's gonna be our favorite weapon right there. Gat. I'm gonna put not a gat, but another assault cannon turret, I think. Yeah, we're gonna turn it around though so it's facing the forward. And then we'll have, yeah, these 2 assault cannon turrets right there, followed by an artillery on the front with a gat defending. And I might, you know, maybe at some point I'll move that gat to a different location and put the artillery right there. I don't know, but actually it would look better. I would like to have some gats on this side though, so I really need to figure out where I'm gonna put those. Okay, I think I'm at least happy with this bottom part right here. I think this, you know, if you cover that top part right there, that ends up looking pretty good. The 2 assault cannons are gonna be very deadly. And in fact, we have yet another assault cannon down there. This ship is gonna have a lot of assault cannons. What else do I need? I think I kind of like most of this. The big thing though is we need to figure out how we're gonna do the top. The top is a hard part. I think I'm pretty happy with where this is, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove this and put it in there. Need to like find a random block to put some stuff in.
Inventory full.
It's gonna drop a bunch of blocks. Okay, I decided to replicate what we have on the front over here because I really like this look right here. This I think looks really neat. And I put that on this side as well. And I think this ends up looking like a pretty decent area. It hides that thruster pretty well as well, so it won't take as much damage. And then all in all, it's pretty neat. This thruster sticks out a tiny bit. I could lower it one. Wouldn't be a horrible option. Or it'd be really cool to bring it over, but we do also have these in the way. So, I mean, I could relocate those always. The other option though is I could like shift it to the side a little bit and bring it out one as well to kind of be on the same side as those. These don't have a lot of protection. I don't know. I'll think about that. I'll think about that one as I continue to work. But so far we're doing pretty darn well across the ship, I think. This is only one side, so we're gonna have to do all this on the other side. But it goes a lot faster once you kind of know what you're doing and like don't have to like think about stuff and try stuff and, you know, undo stuff if it fails, and, you know, that sort of thing. And I really like this profile as well. I think this fits the ship a lot more than what it was pretty much going out like this. And I don't know how we're gonna do the railguns. We might relocate the railguns to something like down here or something. If we can, we might be able to find room now that we don't have a giant drill down there. But yeah, a couple renovations for the ship are underway. Okay, since I really like what's going on here, I think before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's go ahead and do this as well on the other side so that we don't completely forget exactly what we're doing. So all this, we're gonna transfer this to the other side as well. So let's do that real quick. Okay, we are using the welder to get most of these, which is not our best idea, but we're also going to get rid of that thruster, which most of it's been destroyed in that battle. I tried to say battle and fight, and it came out fight. Okay, well let's get that gone, and then we'll get these gone as well. Okay, those are gone, and then you. We can get some of you gone as well. Actually, we can get the full thing gone in just a little bit. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to build up all these ion thrusters, so I think a lot of them are going to end up being just placeholders.
Inventory full.
And we'll come back and build them up later, which I think is fine. We'll find more thruster components and stuff at the next prototype base we go to, or we'll go and find some silver and platinum and stuff and make it. Okay, how are we looking here? I know I want to do something right here. Let me get my blocks again. Okay, so you're going to go right there, and then I believe we're going to do another set of you right there, followed by some of you guys. Nope, not that one. This one. Facing that way and that way, and then we'd have the 3 in the middle right there. I think that's how we did it on the other side. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll go check it in a second. There we go. We can check it with the spectator camera here. When I'm building something where I want symmetry in survival mode, I like putting the spectator camera somewhere on, you know, like on the other side, just so I can swap between them like this, and I can very easily see, oh yeah, okay, so we did it like that, and then we can copy that pretty easily. It's pretty much just like if we had gone to the other side and taken a screenshot and then just like reference that, but the spectator is just a little bit easier to do. And if you have a survival world, you can do that as well if you turn on spectator camera, which you can do in the settings. Alrighty, so on top of these, I believe what we had done was something like this, just so we could have our thrusters right there, and then back here we had our ion thrusters. Now, I'll have to see exactly how we had that set up. I don't remember. And we already know all the stuff up here is going to get reworked anyway, so might as well just remove it for now. Man, you know what I really need is that upgrade that allows you to charge your suit power with the sun. That would have really come in handy here, wouldn't it? Just with the sun right there, I would basically never run out of power. Oh, that'd be so nice. I should have gotten that one instead of the damage reduction, but I'm pretty sure the damage reduction will come in handy in the future when we fight more people. So it should be okay. All right, you guys only require steel plates, so I can go ahead and build you up with no problem. And then you guys, I'm gonna remove you and remove you. I'm really putting a lot more heavy armor on this thing, but I think it's fine. The ship, with this much power in space, the ship will be able to support it just fine. Warfare ion right there, and then we'll build it up later, but at least we know where that's gonna go, which is gonna be good. Okay, so some of these right here, I'm gonna go ahead and use my steel plates on. All right, that's starting to look pretty good. We still need something right here. Maybe do I try and get all these built up? Maybe I do. You know what? Let's go ahead and get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That probably won't take too much. All right, that's pretty good. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put one of these right here. We'll build that up later, but right here, I believe we had an assault cannon turret. So let's get that out. Throw our assault cannon turret this way, and we'll get that built up so it can start actually being useful in case something attacks us. Can I grab from here? I think I can. Yeah, I can. We've been doing it the hard way this whole time. Okay, here we go. There's our assault cannon turret, and this is looking pretty good, dare I say it. Get that built up as well since this is right here. And we'll get a couple more light armor blocks. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. Let's get our thrusters in here. What's really nice about this is all these heavy armor blocks that I have to remove, I can almost immediately just throw them into another heavy armor block. Because we have so many of them here. So there we go, easy as that. All right, there's our heavy armor right there. So now we can finally throw in our thruster right here. And I think we're also gonna do heavy armor right here also. So let me go ahead and put that in. And we'll get that in just a second, but the thruster I'd like to get in now. So we want the warfare one, and we want it to be sideways like that, as far back as it can go, which is gonna be right there. Perfect, and that's gonna provide a nice base to put on our other thrusters as well. And I'll have to figure out what I wanna do right here. This whole area got decimated a little bit, so we're gonna have to do a little bit of work on that. But for now, what we can do is just throw the small warfare ion thrusters right there, and those will start looking pretty nice. All right, I really like this look. I think this look looks a lot better than what we had before, which was this giant thing. We're gonna have to figure out something else for these. Again, we might completely remove those, I'm not sure. We'll figure it out. But what we can do here real quick is right click, and get those built up, because that is as easy as just going to this thing. And we're of course going to want to remove all of these light armors and replace them with heavy armor, at least those two. Just so that we have that defense against this area. I'm gonna keep this open for now because I really like having access to that thing right there. But let's start working on this next section, because this section right here is looking pretty good. I mean, still a little bit of work needs to be done up there, but it's looking, you know, decent. And I hope you guys are fine with another complete renovation of the Snowstorm. I know some of you don't want to see more Snowstorm stuff, but don't worry, this is probably the last time we'll have the Snowstorm in a series. Most likely when we start next year's series, it won't be a continuation kind of like this one was. It'll probably be a completely new thing. So if you are tired of the Snowstorm, then don't worry, we'll have a completely fresh blank slate. And I try to like structure my series so that they're mostly a blank slate, but I've enjoyed having, you know, some continuation going on between them, but I feel like three series continuations is probably the magic number, and I don't want to go too far with that. So yeah, most likely next year, 2026 survival, which might be in Space Engineers too, who knows? But regardless, it'll be a fresh slate with no continuation at all, most likely a completely new story. I'm really liking what the, so I asked a couple episodes ago for people who wanted to do encounters and stuff like that, and they're doing some crazy stuff. They're actually like talking, you know, without me, about how to structure the remainder of the story as far as, you know, the Armageddon faction and all that stuff goes, which I'm enjoying quite heavily. I didn't know that they would take that initiative, but I'm really liking it. So if you, again, I guess I'll say this again, I've said it a couple times now, but if you're interested in doing encounters or anything like that, we do have a channel in our Discord, link in the description, where you can join that. And if you join the builder role, you can, you know, help them work on encounters or make an encounter yourself, usually following loose story guidelines or something like that. And yeah, of course, any encounter that gets added to the world, you'll get full credit for building and stuff. You'll get a shout out. I love having just one gravity generator on the ship, by the way. Look at this nice 1.0 artificial gravity where we can jump down without dying. It's so nice. Before we had the 2 gravity and it was just splat whenever you jump down anywhere. All right, let's get a little bit of this stuff and I'll come back up here so you can see what we've got and check that out. Just a little bit of a, you know, a little thruster zone. I think never hurt anybody. Well, unless you walk into it, but don't do that. We don't like people when they walk into our thruster zone. All right. Using our spectator camera, we got to figure out something for this, and we have to do this for both sides. Huh. I think it's probably going to go... I don't know. Well, maybe we'll just table that one for now. And then let's start working on this next section right here. All right, we're going to get 4 more of these guys done by hand here, and then we should be able to get our, I believe, another assault cannon turret. I'm not 100% sure what we put here. 1, 2, 3, and then, oh, 4 even. Okay, what did we have on this side? Now we have a assault cannon turret right there. I think we probably had an assault cannon turret right there as well. And the answer is yes, we did. And I might completely remove this one, by the way. I'm still thinking I might move this to the center and then have, you know, put the Gatling somewhere else. I'm not sure, but we can at least throw our assault cannon turret here. All this assault cannon stuff, by the way, means we're really gonna need to make sure we have a lot of assault cannon shells for this stuff, because this is gonna require a lot. Assault cannon right there, assault cannon right there. Yeah, it's gonna need so much. Okay. Ooh. So I can fix a little bit of that while we're here. Okay, we've gotten some of it done. We still have some more to do right here. We have some more to do, especially right there. That's a little tricky because we need to actually get all this stuff destroyed. I mean, we could go ahead and destroy this right now because we don't need it anymore, considering we have it attached to the Snowstorm. So, I mean, might as well do that. And then all this light armor stuff we could also get by hand. The heavy armor stuff's gonna be a pain and require multiple trips and stuff, but yeah, we really need to just go through and get all this stuff so that we don't have this to worry about anymore. Ooh, a storage shelf 3. Don't mind if I do. Storage shelf 3s have all the nice components on them. I didn't even realize that was in there. Tell you what, it takes a second to grind down this entire thing. But little by little, little by little, block by block,
Inventory full.
we'll get there. All right, there we go. That is, I believe, a fourth of it. We were able to remove a little bit of it there. And in fact, is there anything over here? I guess I can remove some of the stuff down here as well. But I think if every now and then we come back and remove another fourth of it, we'll eventually be done with it. All right, that right there is about half of what was left. So we've got a lot of it. Maybe I can get that last section right there as well. I mean, at this point, why not do all of it, right? Okay, finally, most of the structure here is gone. So what that means is now we can start taking it back. I just want to get rid of all this stuff. So starting with this guy, this is going to take a couple trips because these things are very heavy. We can start bringing back this stuff.
Full.
And we can start working it back to, oh, actually only 3 trips with our inventory size. That's pretty good. We can start working it back to this over here. So all these blocks right here, we're going to take down. This one, I don't think there's anything in there, but let me check. No, okay, there's nothing in the O2H2 generator. Perfect. And then this guy, yeah, you have a bunch of stuff. So let's go to storage. And let's move all this stuff over before we have to carry it over ourselves, because that'd be a pain. All right, get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. I'll put that all in here, I guess. I think hopefully it goes over to another place. Let's go storage. And then let's move all this stuff over. Perfect. Get rid of that. And finally, we are free. The Snowstorm has eaten, basically, the Prototech base. And now we can continue working over here because we have this room clear. Now we have to keep in mind that this is there, and we're probably gonna have to move it out a little bit with what we're doing. For instance, I believe this right here is gonna go like this for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then turn back into one of those, and it's gonna go down right there. So that means that this is now the threshold for the ship, so this will have to go out a little bit more. And we'll probably have to rework this room right here. We might change it up. All right, there's the top done right there. That's looking pretty good. And we might still do something with the top right here, but it's good to get the rest of, you know, everything else situated, I think. All right, I think it's about time, as I'm getting this stuff here. That's a parallax thing that just spawned. I think it's about time to go and get the barista, because we need to weld up all this stuff that we've put into place. And this is most of the blocks that we need to make the backside even with this side. And then probably once we're done kind of working out the shell here, we'll work on this little bit right here, because I want to get, I think this is probably going to go straight up. This is definitely going to come out more, because that's a little bit of an inefficient place to have that way back there. But yeah, let's get the barista. Let's get a bunch of stuff on board, and let's get out here. Last time we ran out of steel plates, so 10,000 is not enough if we were to fill everything else with metal grids. So let's go into let's go into ship. We're gonna go into cargo, and we're gonna go into storage. Go ahead and put a full thing of modular in here, which is 10,000, and then I'll put one thing of that. And then let's start getting some of these. So that's gonna give us 600. There's another bit right there. And then I can toss some more in the modular. It ends up not being that bad. We're gonna need a lot more of these metal grids though, huh? Well, let's worry about that when we come to it. Let's go ahead and disconnect. Ooh, I love how bright the barista is. All right, oh, the barista's heavy. Okay, so we're going very slow, but it's okay. And let's turn around here. I wanna see real quick. Yeah, we do have a couple of blocks that we need to weld right here. So while we're here, I'll go ahead and get those. Ooh, yeah, the barista has a little bit of trouble holding the side when it's full of stuff, but it's okay. Make sure we're on number 2 and not number 1, because number 1 is autocannons, and we don't want to shoot at our own ship. Not again, at least. All right, let's go up this way. Make sure we get all these blocks welded up. And I've probably used way too much heavy armor on this ship now, but whatever. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. And in this case, we're in the land of the Prototech, and they have deadly ships, and we have to be able to handle those. The only way we're gonna do that is if we have a lot of heavy armor. All right, we're out of steel plates now, it looks like. Let's go ahead and hide empty. We're also out of metal grids, so I wonder how long we've been out of metal grids. That doesn't have metal grids, this doesn't have metal grids. No metal grids, no metal grids. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. We ran out of metal grids all the way back here. So all those have steel plates, but no metal grids. But then most of these do have metal grids in them as well. It's just those ones up top that are missing the metal grids. Okay. Well, we got a lot of this welded up, so that's pretty good. we're certainly getting there. How are our unidentified signals going? That's got 25 minutes, so I think we're gonna wait until that one expires. Then whatever one respawns, we might start heading toward. Because I'd like to end this episode kind of closer to a Prototech base. So maybe we'll do that. Let's go ahead and bring the barista back to its location here. Okay, I don't know how easy this will be, but I would love to put like some sort of little weapon zone out here. I don't know. Let me grab some steel plates and try and like think about this, because one of the things I would like to do is add a couple more weapons to the Snowstorm. And you've seen we've been doing this along the side, right? We've got the weapons there. We'll have a artillery cannon right there on that side, but I'd like to get like a little weapon zone right here as well. So if I could do that, maybe putting heavy armor. I'm thinking if I could do something like, let me think about this for a second. I could do something like that. All right, I thought it'd be a good idea to add a couple of decals, or not decals, decoys as well to the side right here. Just in case we get into a battle and something starts shooting, it'd be nice if they would shoot at this stuff before they'd shoot at, you know, our larger weapons. So I've added a couple of decoys right there. I'm also gonna get these all built up right here. It's gonna take a second, but we have a connection right there. So it shouldn't take that long, luckily. And we're gonna need to go grab energy again pretty soon, but we should be able to get all this. And then the metal grids, we are gonna start running out, which is unfortunate. That kind of makes us think that we might wanna start trying to go find another base to steal. But at the very least, it is nice to get this little gunnery section up. I think I kind of like this little area. It's just a small little outcropping, I guess, from the main ship that has this little gun right there, and it kind of separates them from being just in the center line of fire, which I think is pretty good. And it gives us a little bit of room as well where we can do something like this, where we can add maybe just a tiny little deflection thing right there. So 1, 2, 3, something like that. So a lot of the shots that are trying to hit this might only hit this, and I think that's gonna be a good thing. We're gonna need to go make sure that we get our energy back. But luckily we can do that real easily. There's a little hole that I left right here that leads us into our little med bay room, which still needs to be fixed, by the way. But it's very nice to be able to just walk in here, or to fly in here. And in fact, maybe I will fix this real quick just by putting up a couple of those. See if I've got the steel plates. I don't, but I do know where to get them. It was right there. Very nice. We need to get the floor contractor in here to fix that up, but it's starting to look pretty good. Okay, I've done a couple of renovations over here, and this is probably not going to seem like the most important use of time, I guess. I don't know, but I've turned a little bit of the spaghetti that was this kind of going in, and then this going up there, and then this going up to those, into a little bit of a neater thing. So now this comes this way, and this goes directly up. So basically, I turned a lot of spaghetti into linguine. I don't know. A longer, less messy noodle, I guess. But anyway, yeah, that's what we're working on right here. Just trying to get a little bit of this looking a little bit nicer, and slowly but surely, we're hopefully getting there. Gotta keep in mind, this is where I want to put the welder thing. So I think what I'll do is I'll put that there, but then above that, I'm gonna put a layer of heavy armor. And I'll leave a gap for now so I can walk in between. But that layer of heavy armor is going to help us out with keeping this area defended. And then I'll do a layer of light armor, because I'm okay with this. And in fact, these should be 1 block higher, not that low. All right, very good. This is looking pretty good. Okay. I would love to de-spaghetti that side as well, but I feel like we spent so much time building this thing up right now, and the ship is still in shambles, but we, for some reason, decided to go crazy building this up. What I might do... let me think about this. While the ship is kind of half built, it's a little crazy to do this, but I might go and start heading toward that unidentified signal. That puts us closer in the, you know, system, and also gets us a little closer to an unidentified signal. Now, we don't have anything to worry about if we jump, because there's nothing that is free of the area. We do have to worry about if we get into a battle. But, you know, we're just going to check. We're just going to do some window shopping outside of that Prototech base, because I want to see what is over there. Now, very likely what might happen is if we get there and it doesn't look that bad, we might actually build up another, like some sort of attack ship, some smaller attack ship, and then go in with that to see if we can find out what it is. Because some of the Prototech bases, I believe, are like meant to be explored on foot. So if it happens to be one of those, then we don't need the Snowstorm to be at full fighting capacity. Even though right now it's not bad. It's got weapons. It's got plenty of weapons. It just needs a little bit more work. So let's start aiming ourselves that way and start getting ready to go. While the AMG Snowstorm is still in shambles, we'll see if we can get a little bit of action done. Look at the new profile of the ship, by the way. It's looking beefier, I'll say that. All right, let's start aiming toward this Prototech base, which is going to be down there. Hopefully we have everything attached. I think we do. We have railguns loaded, so that's good. If we do get into a fight, we'll have those at least. And we're, of course, going to use our jump drives to try and get over there. Now, I don't think our jump drives took any damage. If I go into my jump drive stuff, our max distance is 1600, so that's not that bad. I think, yeah, we're going to do a blind jump in this direction. Let's make sure we're aimed as close as we can with this camera. And then let's do our blind jump. All right, we're ready to jump. 3, 2, 1, let's launch it. Okay, and go into our camera, make sure we're aimed in the right spot, because we are doing a blind jump here. 4, 3, 2, 1, gotta blast. All right, we're a little bit closer, a very tiny amount closer. Let's get ourselves some speed. I think we're using the, what are we using actually? Yeah, we're just using the ion thrusters, and we only have the one that's going in that. Actually, no, I lied. We have that. Look at that. Oh, that looks so cool. Look at those, through those windows right there at that ion thruster. Oh, I love that look. And if we do the other one, oh, I love that. That's so cool. And then the heat vents right there, you can see them. You can see them getting to work. Same on this side. We have a couple heat vents. Oh man, I love that. All right, we're gonna give ourselves some speed here. We're gonna let our jump drives recharge, and we're going to, I guess, stay working while we do that. Alrighty. And who said we couldn't work on stuff while we're in motion? Nobody. Guess I should go in here and refill my health bar. Health is a resource, everybody, but if your resource is depleted, then you're in trouble. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a little bit more health. I don't think we can get this one up. Although more important than that would probably be a couple of these side thrusters, because we don't have any leftward thrusters right now. So let's try and get some of these side ones built up, because I think that's going to be really important. So 1, 2, 3. If we can get those built up, then we'll at least have that direction done, and that'll help us out in maneuverability. But other than that as well, if we can find ourselves a platinum rock, I mean, we're kind of going back in that direction anyway, so we might find one. Because we know where one is back over by the trade HQ, so if we go and visit the trade HQ, then that'll be good. All right, so there we go, and let's get this last one right here. So at least now we have ion thrusters in a couple of different directions. I don't know if we have any downward-facing ion thrusters. Where did I put my downward-facing ion thrusters anyhow? On this side. Did I put any? Oh yeah, okay, I put a couple right here. But the upward-facing ones we probably don't have either. Oh, I'm gonna get burned by this. I've got to be careful here. There we go, there's one upward-facing thruster. Here's a second upward-facing thruster. There we go. I guess it was a little crazy to go into this before having these thrusters built out, but we do have the hydrogen as a backup after all, so it's not the biggest deal. And I should probably check, by the way, how much hydrogen we have on the ship, because we did steal the hydrogen from that Prototech base. We should have some. All right, here we go. There's the remainder of that ion thruster. Very nice. They don't appear to, no, they are on, but okay, I guess they're not doing anything right now. Ah! What happened? Wait, what just happened? Did I run aground? I don't think so. We're still moving. I don't know what. Oh, I know what happened. The stuff that was in there slammed into me. Oh, whoops. Okay. I was just trying to make this change right here because I want to get this gun moved to here where it's going to be permanently positioned. All right, artillery turret. There we go. I think I like this positioning a little bit better than having the Gatling with it. Even though the Gatling with it would probably be a little bit more effective, having this alone I think is pretty good. And we could potentially have two Gatlings, one right there or something like that, because we're probably going to move this the name up to the top or something like that, or somewhere else. Okay, anyway, let's go for another jump here because our jump drives should be ready. So let's get ourselves a little bit closer to this Prototech base. Make sure that we're scoped in with this. Let's go ahead and hit jump. Yep, seated crew, perfect. All right, and let's do it. Let's get a little bit closer. 100% jump. Let's see how close we get. All right, man, 2,000. The plants are getting bigger and bigger, and that's what we like to see. You know what I could do as well? I've got these right here. I could always throw a Gatling turret on each of these also. That wouldn't be such a bad thing. It does go up right there. The only problem is that if I put it there, how would I route it? Because I can't just route it straight down because it would go into that. I would have to route it basically through this or something like that. So I don't know, maybe it's not the best idea. Finding a place to put Gatling turrets right here wouldn't be a bad idea though. Where we still have a lot of this ship that we need to figure out what to do with. How are our jump drives doing, by the way? Checking them out, looks like they're about halfway done. Okay. Well, we keep going then. Although, I do need to diagnose something because you, my friend, are not connected. And actually, the diagnosis might be very simple. It might be just this right here. The fact that we have a hole right through here because a railgun came flying through at one point. At least that's what it looks like. And that would also be what destroyed our little jump drives too. So, what I'm gonna do is I solve this problem easily. All right, we're ready with the jump, so let's go ahead and make sure that we're aimed in the right area. And this should jump us as far, I mean, it should jump us pretty close. We should need just one more jump after this. And there we are, 800. And that's actually very close to that planet over there. Hey, we're almost back where we started with the Earth-like planet right there. Very nice. All right, let's keep going. Okay, a couple more blocks built up. Very nice. Just working on getting some final blocks built that weren't built before. These all need metal grids. All right, while we're just traveling here, I got a little bit of heavy armor done as well. And then these still need metal grids, but okay. We need to check on the jump drive. Can we jump again? We probably should be able to. It's been a little bit. No, 77%. Well, we don't need it to be at full capacity, actually. We're only going 800 meters. Let's go ahead and aim a little bit close because we know we want to go there. Oh, am I going to fall in the gravity well of what looks like maybe a Pertam? Is that what that is? I don't think we would survive Pertam. That's the problem. Let's, also we're aiming for an asteroid. That's risky. But let's aim like over here, I guess. Well, you know what? It won't let us jump into a gravity well anyway, so we should be fine to aim directly at it. I'm just afraid a little bit that that planet is pretty darn close. But it should be fine. Okay, jump drive. It should be ready in just a few seconds. Yeah, okay, so let's jump about 700. Oh, let's jump 800 right here. And let's go ahead and make that jump. All right, we are here, everybody. And where's the Prototech thing? Oh, it's over there. Okay, so I'll stop, turn this on. And let's start aiming ourselves this way. So that's where the Prototech thing is. We're about 50 away, and it looks like we're next to a Pertam, which is worrying because Pertam has a very strong gravity pull. So if we happen to fall into this Pertam, we're in trouble. Now the AMG Sandstorm rather, was built on Pertam. So it originally could withstand the high gravity of Pertam. But at this point, I would not say that that's the case because we're missing, if I go into third person here, a lot of our downward facing thrusters. We have a couple of them, not all of them. And I think we would need all of them if we wanted to survive Pertam. So we need to be very careful around here. But let's start heading our way over there. In fact, I could, here, if I want to stop us quickly, I could go ahead and turn on those thrusters. Don't know that that did the thing. Thruster controls on. Oh, I know why. I need to actually turn on these. Stockpile off. There we go. Thrusters on. Perfect. All right. Now let's go see what this thing is, and then probably next episode we'll go and take this thing on, if it's not like a crazy one with a billion ships nearby. And there's only one way to find out if it is, and that is to go over to it and find out if it is. How many brake thrusters do I have, by the way? Asking for a friend. Oh. Oh, that's a problem. That is a problem. That is a PROBLEM problem. We don't have a lot of braking thrusters, which means this speed that we just gave ourselves might be risky. Let's go ahead and turn on those dampeners. Oh yeah. Okay, well let's work on fixing up those thrusters at the start. I mean, we are slowing down a little bit, and if we notice ourselves going still too fast, then we'll have to do something about that. But right now, this is a T-junction, that goes into there, so you're not connected for some reason. That's probably because there's a fault within these. There is a fault. A fault, a fault, a fault. And where would that be? Probably right here. All right, just fixing up a couple connections back here. We're gonna go 1, 2 right there, and that should fix our top connections at least. And what I'd like to do as well, I really want to add a refill station. You guys already know I love these things. We're gonna put one right here. Flip that around right there, I think. Yeah, right here. And build that up, just so I can go ahead and refill without having to go all the way back. Okay, we're 22 away, which means we should start seeing this pretty soon. Steel plates, yeah. All right, we're starting to get a little bit close to the unidentified signal, so with our little bit of heavy armor that we have now, so this is, I think, a little bit more secure. Actually, I'd like to put one more right there if I can, but we need to start slowing down as well because we're getting rather close. So let's build this last one up here. And that provides a little bit of defense to the front there, which I like. Let's go in here and, ooh, inventory rotation. We have another trade station nearby. That's good. We could probably get some trade going for some prototech stuff. Let's go ahead and turn on our dampeners here and start slowing down so that we can see what's going on. Toward the front, I want to see if, yes, perfect. We do have at least one forward-facing thruster now that's active, which is really all I wanted to get with what I was doing in there. Okay, so now we can stop ourselves pretty easily, and I want to go in here and check out what we're looking at. Okay, so I don't know if we'll be able to take this on because this looks like a prototech base. Ship, rather. Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't think we can take this one on. This is another prototech battle. So I think this one's going to be out of our price range, unfortunately. So what we might do is we might just go to the next one here because this one is 2 mini ships followed by 1 large ship. So I would be comfortable attacking that if we had our weapons up, if we had our hull secured, and especially if we had our little mini ships in a state where they could, you know, do stuff. But as it is right now, I think this is a losing battle against those prototech guys. So what we're gonna do is jump drive. We're going to tell it. Well, we're not gonna jump out of here yet because we're still pretty close to them. But if they turn and fight us, we will hit our jump drive and we'll zip on out of here. Anyway, yeah, that's okay. Well, that's gonna be that prototech encounter. We'll probably end up going to the next one next episode once that one respawns or something like that. And probably off camera, maybe I'll do a little bit of more work on the base. There's a lot of busy work to be done. Things like just welding up broken blocks and fixing little areas. There's a little bit of design work that needs to be done, figuring out what I want to do with the middle section right here, with the front right here, and with this section especially. But anyway, yeah, that's going to be the end of this episode. This was a long recording session. We probably spent 6 hours recording this episode, so I don't know what it's going to edit down to, but yeah, I mean, I guess I learned the last time that design episodes are usually long recordings and short episodes, so we'll see. But anyways, I really hope you enjoyed that one as we convert the AMG Snowstorm into what it's going to become in the future, which is going to be the something. We still haven't decided yet. We'll decide eventually. But anyways, if you did enjoy that, please go ahead and hit the like. If you didn't, you can hit the dislike. If you are not subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button down below. Turn that red button into a gray button when you're subscribed. If you'd like to leave a comment, leave those down in the comments section below. And if you'd like to become a YouTube member or a patron, there are links below in the description where you can get early access to videos. You can get your name in the end credits, and for some cases, some tiers, you might even get a shout out at the end of the video. So for those people, we're gonna shout out Queen Danny, Iron Helix, and Heretical John. Thank you very much for your support, and thanks everyone who's watching for your support as well. It really does mean a lot. And with that, I will see you all in the next episode of Space Engineers Survival.